Hello cherry lovers, I am back and today I'm going to make my long-awaited famous homemade cream cheese with the macaroni cheese. So it's a macaroni cheese made with cream cheese. It's a wonderful recipe, so please stay tuned and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. This is my famous cream cheese macaroni and cheese. And I'll give you the ingredients and then I'll give you the details about putting it together. What we have here is, I'm going to double my recipe too, so I'm going to give you a single recipe, but I'm going to double my recipe because we got a lot of people coming up this weekend. I got a pound of elbow macaroni you will need, and you will also need 3 tablespoons of butter. You will also, and please remember, use butter, not margarine for this recipe. You will also need 1 tablespoon of flour. You will need 3 cups of milk, warmed. Remember to warm your milk because the reason for warming the milk is when you make this rux, this paste, it will dissolve faster, it'll thicken quicker versus if the milk is still cold. You don't have to boil it, you just room temperature it. It only takes maybe 3 or 4 minutes to get that nice and warm. Also, we have 8 ounces of cream cheese. You'll also be using 1 16-ounce bag of Colby Jack. You can use cheddar, but I use Colby Jack because it's a mix, and I like the Colby and the Monterey Jack mix. Also, I have my salt and pepper. You can season that to your taste. You'll use about a teaspoon of pepper and a teaspoon of salt with the recipe. Okay, now as far as the macaroni, I boiled my macaroni already. This is a double batch again, that's why you see so much. So when you boil your macaroni, boil the macaroni according to the directions on your box and then set it aside. And the next thing we're going to do here is the butter. Now you melt your butter in the pot, and as the butter is melting, you'll see it start to come to a boil. After it comes to a boil, heat the butter and then add your flour. Put your tablespoon of flour in there and stir it up really good until it comes to a well paste. Let the butter and the flour mix well. Make sure there's no chunks, no lumps. You want to make sure all of the powdered lumps of flour are all dissolved and melted. And then the next thing we're going to do here, you see how that's nice and bubbly? You can see the bubbles in there. It'll take about 2 to 3 minutes and let that come to a bubble. And then you want to add a little bit of your warm milk. Do not add all your milk at one time. A little bit at a time, because if you pour it all in there at once, you'll have the hardest time trying to thicken. And you want it to thicken. So we're going to stir that and stir that. See how nice? You can see that coming to a little thicker, and as you see that start to thicken, you add just a little more milk and stir. Continue to stir until you get all of that broken up. And what we're going to do is, we get that all stirred up, we're going to continue to mix that. It's going to take 3 to 5 minutes to get all that milk in there and get it all stirred up. And once we're all done getting that nicely mixed, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Now, if Dewana will move in here and look into the pot, we've got that nice and stirred up. The next thing you want to do here is to add your cream cheese. And another thing, a good tip, is to break your cream cheese up into pieces because it melts a lot faster if it's in chunks, and it'll take a lot longer if you put the whole block in at one time. So break your cream cheese bar up into pieces, and then you want to stir that until it's completely dissolved. And as you're stirring that, it'll dissolve. Keep the temperature, remember, a medium low. Just to maybe don't go too much higher than a medium low, or it'll cook too fast and it'll start to stick. It's going to take me a couple of minutes to stir this until it's dissolved, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. And as you can see, if the one will move in on this pot, It's getting nice and creamy. The cream cheese is nice and becoming very dissolved. Remember, keep your temperature medium low. Don't get it up too high. It'll start to stick if you do. Now we're going to add the cheese. Add the cheese gradually. Don't add it all at once. I've actually added a few cups before I came back on camera. As you can see, it's turning colors, but add a little bit at a time. If you add too much, it'll be harder to dissolve. So take your time. Add maybe a cup and a half at a time of cheese, and keep stirring until it's dissolved. Oh, and I don't know if I said this or not, but today you hear me say, Dewana, move the camera. Larry is not here. He's not filming me today. We're up north, as you know. As you can see, I'm in a different kitchen. And they've gone to Home Depot. They had to get some lumber to finish up the high tunnel. We got some things that we need to work on the high tunnel. So the guys have left to go and pick up the lumber. And I decided to go ahead and make the macaroni and cheese as I promised. I said I was going to do it on Friday. Today is Friday, and I'm finishing up the macaroni and cheese. Now, I'm going to add the rest of the macaroni and cheese into the pot. Got about a cup left, cup and a half left. And stir that up until it's completely dissolved. And then, only thing you have to do is pour this luscious, thick, creamy sauce over your macaroni and cheese. It is a very, very good recipe. Another great thing about it, it will keep in your refrigerator for days. Usually anywhere from 3 to 5 days. The macaroni will stay nice and fresh and delicious. Once it's heated up, it's a really, really good recipe, even heated up. It tastes just as good as if you had just made it. So it's a very good recipe. I hope you guys enjoy it. What I'm going to do now is pour the macaroni and cheese that I've stirred up here. It's almost completely melted, but I want to show you something over here. I usually have a great big huge aluminum pan that'll hold all of it, but I walked off and left my aluminum pan, so today I've got 2 bowls here. And the only thing you have to do is pour your sauce that you've made up right over top of your macaroni and cheese, stir, and then you've got a great, great, great macaroni and cheese recipe. What I'm going to do is pour that over the macaroni and cheese, and I'll get right back and show you what that looks like. And I'll let Dewana be my taste tester. Thank you. Okay, we're back. Now, Dewana will move in over here. As you can see, I want you to see how creamy that is. Nice and creamy, all mixed in, both the containers. And what I want you to know about this macaroni and cheese is it stays this way. It remains creamy no matter when you heat it up. One of the things that I totally forgot to tell you guys while we were making it, but remember the pot of the blend of the cheeses, the cream cheese and the Colby cheese? I forgot to add the salt and pepper. So at this point, I'm going to add the salt and pepper, but I want you to remember that while you're making the cheeses, always remember to add your salt and your pepper to your pot of cheese before you add your cheese to your macaroni. That's all you got to do is remember to add your salt and your pepper, whether it's a teaspoonful, 2 teaspoons, whatever you like. And of course, this is perfectly okay, but add your salt and pepper to your cheese mix. Now, see how creamy that is? Doesn't that look delicious? Very creamy, very delicious. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the camera and then I'm going to let Dewana, my oldest daughter, taste test it, and I'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dewana, I'm Joyce's daughter, and I'm getting ready to try this magnificent macaroni and cheese that she made. Magnificent.